Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Elite Academy. Yes, you are reading it right. Trump ने भी UPSC को हिला डाला. Now what is this Trump and UPSC connection? There would be something because of which we are making this video, right? And it is a UPSC CDS shocker because this exam CDS 2 का exam UPSC ने अभी recently September 14th को conduct किया है. So there was a question which indeed is coming or related to Trump. What is it? Let's have a look. So this was the question which was asked by UPSC. Which of the following statement about Alcatraz, which was recently in news, is or are correct? It was once a defense fort on Alcatraz Island of America. Second statement, it was once a prison on Alcatraz Island of America. And the third statement, it was once occupied by a group of Native American students known as Indians of all tribes. And you have to tell which of the options are correct, how many statements are correct. 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 1. So let me tell you, ये कोई common sense वाला question नहीं है. You cannot eliminate the options कि अच्छा military fort was there or not, prison was there or not, or some Native American students had occupied it or not. Even if you know the history, but if you don't know the complete story, you will not be able to attempt this question. Now, how to attempt such questions and what is the answer, that I will tell you later. But what is the Trump connection? Why we are saying that Trump ने UPSC को हिला डाला? Let's understand it. But wait, क्या ऐसा क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी ने पहली बार पूछा है? क्या ऐसे किसी एक टॉपिक के ऊपर ऐसे क्वेश्चन which is not related to India has UPSC asked it for the first time? No. Definitely it is not for the first time UPSC is asking such question. In CSE Prelims 2022, if you will check the question number 67 of set A, you will find 5 statements on Vietnam. This I have definitely, if you see, using common sense, this you can solve by eliminating the options. This I have already covered in one of the video. But this question on Vietnam itself was asked by UPSC, and that too 5 statements were given on Vietnam itself. Like that, there was another question on Kenya, like these statements related to Kenya. And map-based questions and other questions, history, polity related questions, we have seen that UPSC is focusing on any particular country, African country, Latin America country, जो भी न्यूज़ में होता है उस पे फोकस रहता है और उस कंट्री के बारे में डिटेल पूछता है. So ये कोई पहली बार नहीं हुआ है CDS 2025 में that UPSC is asking any particular information पे statement based question. So UPSC has been asking like this in CSE Prelims as well. So how we should get ready, that also I will tell. अब ये connection क्या है उसको समझते हैं. So I'm very sure that if you are regularly following the newspaper, then you would have come across these storylines. The story of the infamous Alcatraz prison which Trump wants to reopen, news coming from May 2025. Trump likely to visit Alligator Alcatraz Migrant Detention Center this week, again coming from June. Trump tours Florida immigration lockup and jokes about the escapes having to run from alligators. So ये सारी न्यूज़ जो है, इधर जो मैंने यहाँ रखा है, ये या तो द हिंदू में था या इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में था, एंड डेफिनेटली और भी न्यूज़पेपर में होगा, बट आई एम टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट जो यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स पढ़ते हैं उसके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. सो द हिंदू एंड इंडियन एक्सप्रेस. तो इसकी अपनी कहानी है. अभी आपको ये ध्यान रखना है, एल्काट्राज प्रिजन, फ्लोरिडा, इसकी एक हिस्ट्री है, इसका एक लिंकेज है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस एल्काट्राज आइलैंड, वेयर इज इट लोकेटेड? इट इज लोकेटेड इन सैन फ्रांसिस्को बे. And it is not just a rock, it's a symbol of American history. Built as fortress in mid 1800s, it evolved into the rock, the inescapable prison. But its most popular chapter is the occupation in 1969. Not only that, I'm very sure that if you are a Hollywood fan, the Devil's Island has been featured in many Hollywood movies. Like Escape from Alcatraz in 1979, Birdman of Alcatraz 1962, and the historical drama Murder in the First. In fact, many action films also have featured this island, like The Rock 1996 and The X-Men, The Last Stand of 2006. So, ये क्या है? एक familiarity हमें मिल गई. Now, what is the story behind it? Alcatraz story begins in 1846. It was bought during the Mexican-American War for defense. By 1850, President Millard Fillmore reserved it amid the gold rush frenzy. It became the West Coast first lighthouse in 1854 and was a full military fort by 1858. However, it never fired in the battle, but it was perfect for isolation. And since it was isolated from the mainland due to the strong ocean currents and cold currents, it was seen as a perfect spot for detention center. During the Civil War from 1861 to 1865, it held the Confederate prisoners of wars and the sympathizers or the people who were charged with treason. Post-war, it housed Native Americans for the Indian Wars, displacing the indigenous peoples. Tying into the colonial history, this is what UPSC loves. Later, it was revamped as The Rock, the prison, in around 1910. But due to the operational cost, due to the perpetual saltwater corrosion, and in fact, the operation cost was almost 3 times than the operation cost of the normal prison. And because of which it was closed later in 1963 finally. In between, इस बीच जो जितने साल भी ऑपरेट किया, बहुत सारे इनमेट्स ने भागने की कोशिश की. 14 escape attempts were made by almost 30 plus prisoners. लेकिन कहानियां बहुत सारी हैं कि कोई बच नहीं पाया, कोई मारा गया, एंड उस पर भी मूवी बनाई गई है, द ग्रेट एस्केप. ये सारी चीजें आप हॉलीवुड की मूवीज में देखते हैं. Because it was isolated, so the escape was very difficult. इसीलिए तो ये लोकेशन चुनी गई थी. Now after the closure, in 1969, कुछ historical event हुआ because of which the third statement of the question was framed. In 1969, there was a takeover by the Indians of all tribes. They occupied the island in a bid to raise awareness about the numerous social economic plights faced by the indigenous population in US. The students remained there for 19 months, after which the federal marshals they moved in and forcibly removed them in June 1971. And the very next year, in 1972, वो एक national park announced किया गया, and since then it has been opened as a tourist place. So this is the short story of Alcatraz, right from military fort to prison and then occupation by the students in 1969 during the civil rights movement, जो आप NCERTs में पढ़ते हैं. So what we have seen is, on one hand, we are seeing this news about Alcatraz Island, the story of the infamous Alcatraz prison, which Trump wants to reopen now. उन्होंने बोला कि ये justice होगा और ऐसे लोगों को detention करने के लिए भेज देना चाहिए. However, इस statement का भी बहुत criticism हुआ, and Trump was criticized, and we know that he loves controversy. India के साथ भी controversy, मोदी जी के साथ भी controversy. So on one hand, we have this news which is coming from the Alcatraz Island. On the other hand, this news is there that Alligator Alcatraz, Trump likely to visit Alligator Alcatraz migrant detention center, which is there in Florida. So one is coming from the west coast, one is coming from the east coast. कहानी क्या है? एक Pacific Ocean से आता है, एक Atlantic Ocean से आता है. One has a history and one has a name. Symbolism, because of which it was in news and UPSC has capitalized here. So now I am very sure that you would have got to know that how Trump ने UPSC को हिला दिया. कुछ हिस्ट्री है, कुछ प्रेजेंट है, एंड ट्रम्प बाबा की, ट्रम्प चाचा की कुछ कहानी है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ विच यूपीएससी ने हमारे एस्पिरेंट्स की क्यूरियोसिटी, अवेयरनेस एंड करंट अफेयर्स टेस्ट करने की कोशिश की. So here we are with Alcatraz Island, which is there in on the western coast, San Francisco, Alcatraz Island, California. This is on the western coast. If we talk about Alcatraz, Alcatraz जो prison reopen किया गया है, detention center open किया गया है, you can see Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic Ocean, and it is there in Florida. So here Trump visited this place and it is surrounded by the alligators. That's why he was making a joke that escape would be very difficult. Similar to this. So symbolism. Now the point is why UPSC is asking this. UPSC is testing the US domestic policy जो shift हो रही है, whether we are aware of it or not. And at the same time, US law and order versus indigenous right, there is a history of that. उसकी एक अपनी civil rights movement रहा है, NCERTs में भी हम पढ़ते हैं, world history में हम पढ़ते हैं. So ये भी UPSC टेस्ट करना चाह रहा है कि whether you have that awareness or not. And at the same time, most importantly, it is testing your current affairs awareness. Because अभी बहुत सारा issue चल रहा था, Trump, Modi ji, Trump, India, US, India. So a natural inclination जो एक एस्पिरेंट का होता है कि यार हो क्या रहा है, चल क्या रहा है, ट्रम्प कर क्या रहा है, why is so much like in news. But ऐसे जो क्वेश्चन होते हैं एल्काट्राज आइलैंड के, आई एम वेरी श्योर कि हमारा फोकस इस पे नहीं जा पाता, एंड दैट इज द रीजन दैट वी आर मेकिंग दिस वीडियो टू create this awareness that if you are watching this video and if you are preparing for the exam oriented पढ़ाई ऐसे होती है, and this is where UPSC is trying to trap you. This is where UPSC is trying to make the things difficult for you. Now coming to the question, CDS 2025 Alcatraz, yes, it was once a defense fort on Alcatraz Island of America. True. It was once a prison on Alcatraz Island of America. True. It was once occupied by group of Native American students known as Indians of all tribe. True. So the answer is C, 1, 2, 3 with respect to the statements about Alcatraz. तो ये तो हुआ आंसर, यूपीएससी ने क्यों पूछा. नाउ नेचुरली हाउ वी शुड गेट रेडी फॉर द फ्यूचर. सो द आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज दैट यू हैव टू बिल्ड क्यूरियोसिटी, यू हैव टू डेवलप इंक्विजिटिव माइंड. आपको क्यूरियस होना पड़ेगा जो भी चीज चल रही है. नाउ आफ्टर सीइंग दिस वीडियो यू नो दैट वेयर यूपीएससी इज ट्राइंग टू गिव यू द शॉकर्स. आपको बाउंसर्स कहां दे रहा है. मेनी पीपल, आई एम वेरी श्योर 90%, 95%, 99% even will skip this question. Only the 1% curious people, the top 1% and serious students की category सिर्फ 1% ही है. They will be only able to either attempt this and 99% लोग इसको छोड़ेंगे ही. So you have to work on your curiosity. You have to develop this inquisitive mind. NCERTs, अपनी history, maps, locations, ये भी इससे पता चलता है that we should be aware and we should develop curiosity for the map based locations as well. हमारे historical touch भी होना चाहिए, and current affairs is the key. This I am not highlighting for the first time. I have highlighted many times. Current affairs is the key for prelims, for mains. If you have seen my analysis video of the recently held mains exam GS paper, you will find that current affairs was the key. So similarly for prelims also, current affairs is the key. Almost 40 to 45 questions are current affairs directly, and indirect questions और भी होते हैं. So you need right mentorship and right course. Don't get trapped in this ocean of information which is available. And nowadays we have our chat GPT जो और information overload कर चुका है हमें. And UPSC aspirants, we feel that chat GPT tools, AI tools, it is easy for us, but it is actually making your life a hell और difficult बना रहा है. You are getting trapped. So if you are aware of this, then please come out of it. So you need right mentorship and right course to sail through. In the end, I have only one appeal, that be exam ready. Whatever you are preparing, from wherever you are preparing, be exam ready. And that is exactly we are doing. At Elite Academy, we focus on exam readiness from the day one of your preparation. So we have our current affairs classes, we have our mentorship program, we have our test series, and through all these courses, our focus is exam orientation, to prepare you for the exam, and that too, केवल preparation नहीं, top करने के लिए हम आपको तैयार करते हैं. In our current affairs class, we focus on the current affairs orientation for prelims, mains, and interview. For prelims, we focus question answer format. We give you mains 360-degree analysis and the case studies, example, and data. So you choose carefully that what is helpful for you. Don't get trapped. Be exam ready. I'm sure that you would have enjoyed this video, and I am also sure that there are many takeaways for you from this video. See you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.